everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rams Revealed. And I've been ganged up by a bunch of good-looking fellas in good-looking suits, and I look like I am homeless. Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas. I'm joined by the new Canaan boys lacrosse captains for this upcoming lacrosse season. We have Chris Canet, Callum Wood, Harry Appelt, Jack Connors, and the man who doesn't have a mullet because he got his COVID vaccination. He's doing good in the world, Ryan Caione. Guys, thanks so much for joining me here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Ian.
All right, so we're going to start with the man who has a pennant in the background, Chris, the All-State man. We don't have to go to the accolades yet, Chris. We can do that in the whatever. We can do that later. But let's talk about the 2019 season. You guys haven't played varsity hockey since June 1st, 2019. We're now in 2021, and, the world's been flipped upside down. Is there any rust that you guys have been knocking off? Harry jumping in and already making it fun. But, Chris, has there really been any rust that you've been knocking off yet, or have you just been going full swing in practice so far?
I would say there's definitely a learning curve for everybody. I mean, we haven't played the sport of lacrosse, especially in high school lacrosse, in a while, but we're coming together. Everyone's putting their best effort, and at the end of the day, it's all I can really ask. We're looking forward to our first game on Saturday.
Well, certainly you guys are well prepared, well coached. I'm going to go to Mr. Chatty over here. Harry, the Williams commit. What are you most looking forward to this season? How big of a role did you play for this team in 2019 compared to a role this year where at attack you're going to have to play a much bigger role than you did as a sophomore, and you didn't even have a junior season?
The comparison between my two roles sophomore year and this year is definitely going to be very different. Didn't get much playing time as a sophomore, but this year, I'm going to have a larger role in the offense and, going to try to be a leader of the offense along with Ryan and Chris and Callum. And, you said, what am I looking forward to most? I'm just looking forward to getting W's with my boys and, that feeling when walking off the field, looking at the scoreboard, Been a while since we got that feeling, playing for our town, so looking forward to it.
And Ryan, how big would that mean to you tomorrow? You have a scrimmage up against Greenwich before you have your first game on Saturday. How much would it mean to you and the guys and Coach Buzzio? Greenwich, maybe not a team that's been a powerhouse as of late, but just to get a win and just to get some playing time and legitimate New Canaan varsity action, what does it mean to you guys that after really there was no chance you were going to have a season last year given the conditions? What does it mean to you that tomorrow, I don't know when you're playing, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, you will actually be playing high school lacrosse?
It feels great. I think a lot of us have been waiting a really long time to get back on the field, and we've had a really long preseason and worked really hard as a team, and so I think we're all excited to get out there and beat up some other guys.
Well, I like that. I think Coach Buzzio would like those words too. Speaking of a guy who likes to beat up on others, Jack Connors, who will never hold anything back from the team. Jack, what has Coach Chip Buzzio been telling you guys the most over these last few weeks? Are there any signature phrases from Coach Buzzio or things that he keeps repeating and repeating that have been sticking out in this season that will truly look like no other for you guys?
Coach Buzz is a very vocal guy, and he loves to get us all fired up at these practices. A couple days ago he was talking about how, he really wants to come out firing out of the gate. So, I think overall he's really excited to be back with us, and I think overall we're really excited to be back too, and, hopefully go out and get a W tomorrow and then again on Saturday.
Hopefully. And then
Stay spread, Ian. Gotta stay spread during everything.
It takes all of us.
Yeah.
Are these just some of the common phrases? I like that. All right.
Yeah.
Callum, I got a bigger question for you than just a Chip Buzzio quote. I've got this. You're heading to Tough next year. Congratulations to all of you that have committed somewhere. Drew Guido, a great guy. And that class last year, a really phenomenal class, and unfortunately didn't get their senior seasons. Quentin, Drew, the names go on. Liam, guys who didn't really get a chance to prove themselves in their senior year and repeat as FCAC champions. You guys are still defending FCAC champions, if you want to say that. I mean, you are. So what is the pressure?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Yes, you are. Harry is loud and proud about that. But back to Callum. Callum, what does it mean to you that not only are you FCAC champions reigning, so you got a little bit of a target on your back per se, but you've also, you've got to be grateful for this year considering that, the guys last year, they didn't get a season.
No, yeah, exactly. I think that's something Coach Buzzio's been preaching throughout the year, that,
you kind of can't take anything for granted, and you never know what's going to happen the next day. So I think we're all just super fortunate and super lucky that we're able to have a season this year, and we're kind of playing for the guys that might have lost it last year. Like you named a few, like Drew Guida, Liam Griffiths, like all those guys, Justin Wheatfeld. They missed their senior year, which is a huge part of everyone's life, basically. So I think we're all kind of playing for them, keeping them in the back of our minds, and you just going one foot at a time.
100%. And Chris, we haven't seen his team in 2 years, so you were a big part of that team that won the FCX championship in 2019. Can you tell me what's the most similar thing about this team compared to the team that made it a championship team 2 years ago? What are the qualities that this team has with these guys leading the team compared to the team that you had together 2 years ago? Whether that's literally on the field play that's similar or just off the field camaraderie, what stands out to you?
Great question, Ian. I would say our team culture is going to be very, very similar. That my sophomore year, our sophomore year, we had to work hard. We had a faceless opponent. We're just going to go out. Doesn't matter who we're playing. Give it our all mentality. I think we're going to have that same mentality this year with our team. I mean, we're going to be a young team just like everybody in the FCX, but we're going to be firing out of the gate. We're going to be so excited to play, and I think that's what is going to help us win games. We're lucky to have a season, like Callum said, and we're just so excited to get on the field and play with each other and play for each other. So I think that's what's going to help us win games.
And diving a little bit more into the specifics with you, Ryan, this team, I bet you guys are going to score a lot of goals this year because you got a high talented attackman and you got you and Chris in the middle. You can make stuff happen on the offensive end of the field. What would you say makes you guys so dangerous? Is it the athleticism? Is it just the experience? When you go out on the field with those guys, what makes you different than everyone else on the offensive end?
You know what it is? It's the unselfishness with this group of 10 or 12 guys this year. No one cares who scores the goal as long as the ball gets in the back of the net. And when you have 6 guys on the field that can all score a goal and nobody cares who scores it, makes it very hard to cover them. So I think you're going to see a lot of people putting up a lot of goals this year.
I love the talk of unselfishness. I love the talk of team building and as your main characteristics this year. But I want to talk a little bit about the guys who we haven't really seen in a New Canaan uniform all too much. Callum, Harry, Jack, you guys had roles on those sophomore teams, but you haven't played in 2 years. Maybe the average New Canaan fan, they think Ryan, they think Chris, but Callum, describe your game a little bit. Honestly, if you would describe how you play the game of lacrosse and what you're the best at and what maybe, you want to improve on, what do you say, makes Callum Wood a good player?
Kind of a tough question there, Ian.
Callum, I was building up to this one.
Yeah. I would say, something like that. I kind of like to pride myself on my lacrosse IQ. I don't like to make a lot of mistakes. Kind of some stuff where it's just like putting hours in the wall, not making sure your stick skills are there. I think those are kind of my strongest aspects of my game. Something I kind of want to work on is just overall athleticism. Can always get bigger, faster, and stronger.
And Harry, I'll pose the same question to you because Callum, he had to answer it blind, but you've got a little bit of preparedness here. When college coaches turn on that film of you, what do they say? Oh, dang, this guy sucks. And then the other times they're like, oh, we maybe got to go after this guy a little bit.
Yeah, man. I guess something I pride myself on is, the willingness to always trying to make the right play first above the flashy play or the something like that. I pride myself on having good vision as a lacrosse player and trying to be a great passer. Dodging from behind, I guess, is one of the things I try to focus on. Yeah,
I like that, dodging from behind. As a guy who really is masquerading as, a lacrosse expert, and I know nothing about your sport, see, that's something I picked up, and that's something I'm going to use on the broadcast. And lastly, Jack, I go to you. If you would describe a little bit of how you play, but also a little bit about, overall what you think of the team this year, maybe some of the guys who aren't seniors, but maybe some juniors, some sophomores who you think are going to make a big impact on this team this year. Who are some players outside of the 5 people on the screen right now who are going to make an impact for New Canaan lacrosse this year?
Well, I really think overall that our team has a really great senior class, whether it be people playing on the field or people in leadership roles. I mean, our senior class as leaders is a very strong senior class, and I think that's shown since our sophomore year. Guys in the younger grade as well, guys like my little brother Carter and, Michael Norton, Dylan Murray, Nick Garcia, a bunch of those younger guys. They're going to play a very large role, but I think overall it takes our entire team, one team, we're going for one goal. So it really takes all of us to achieve, what our goals are, which are, to win every single game that we have and then to win an FCAC and eventually hopefully a state championship.
And Chris, I'll go back to you here. You've got a lot of returning players, but there's one guy who I think his impact is really going to be missed, and that's Carl Mazabras, a guy in goal who was a great guy, and I bet he was a guy that all of you appreciated as a friend. But he was the FCI championship game MVP, and simply you can't really replace that overnight. Maybe in the new Canaan program you can replace that overnight, but for other programs that would be a little bit tougher to replace. Who are some of the guys in goal who you are looking upon as a captain to step up, and they'll step up and make plays for you guys this year?
Yeah, well, I mean, he's obviously going to be a tough person to replace. He stood on his head in that FCI game, and he stood on his head the entire year. He was an amazing goalie, and he's going to be tough to replace no matter who's going to back him up. One notable guy is his little brother, Little Mazabras. He's been looking good in preseason and early season. He's looking good, and we have Michael Rare. So I mean, and then we have an upcoming sophomore. So I mean, we have a bunch of really good players that can back up Mazabras. But I mean, I don't think any starting job has been given out yet. The competition is still fierce in practice, and I think that builds good team chemistry, that competition for that starting spot. And I mean, we'll see. Holden Busby's been playing really, really well as underclassman, so we don't really know where that job's going, but whoever gets it, they're just going to have to play their heart out for the team.
Well said. And Ryan, one last question for you. Has Coach Buzzio talked to any of you guys at all about the fact that he really hasn't seen any of the underclassmen play lacrosse yet? And, how do you feel that you're playing with teammates that, quite frankly, you haven't played with before, considering that you really haven't played in a whole year?
I'm really excited to play with some new faces. And, the five of us have been playing together for a really long time. And, we're very familiar with the junior class as well. But, to play with some sophomores and a couple of freshmen this year, I think presents a new, exciting, but also challenging opportunity to get on the same page with everyone.
And then, Callum, Ryan just referred to it. You guys have played with each other for so long. I mean, you've dreamt of your senior season probably, since 4th or 5th grade when you were playing in the youth programs. I mean, would you rather go to war with any other group of guys than outside of these 5 guys on the screen and then, the other guys, the other seniors that you have as well? How close is this group of seniors?
No, they're all my buddies. These guys are great guys. Everyone's really close, The attack line this year, it's kids I play attack with. It's me, Harry, Nick Stiles, and we've played together since 5th grade. So couldn't ask for anything better. Couldn't dream it up any better, and it's just going to be just awesome.
Well, you've got the brains and Nick Stiles, and then you've got the brawn. Yeah. I'm just joking. You all go into fantastic schools. Harry, speaking of fantastic schools, right back to you here. What makes that attack line so special? I mean, what is your job as an attackman really when it comes down to it? And, what are you looking for as a unit to accomplish this year?
Well, firstly, what makes us special, I think, is just that really outside of lacrosse, we know each other so well. Like Callum said, we've played with each other since 5th grade, but I know Callum and Nick great friends, and I know things about them, interests, hobbies, things that have nothing to do with lacrosse. So we know how to listen to each other, we know how to bounce off each other, and when one certain thing is not to our liking, we know how to voice opinions to each other, and it's always with the team first mentality within our specific attack group and with the offense and team as a whole in mind. And then specifically regarding our job as attackmen as a unit, we're just looking to capitalize on opportunities that the middies give us, especially on fast break opportunities. And when they're working hard and giving us great opportunities to finish inside, it's kind of our job to make sure those balls get in the back of the net, and to also have a commanding voice and great communication as attackmen, so that we're always keeping great spacing and a good dynamic on the offense in 6v6 side of offense. That's also our job. And I think as a unit, Callum, Nick, and I are really well fashioned playing together and getting those jobs done. So I'm excited for that.
And Jack, last question for you. Speaking of getting jobs done, you guys are going to play the first full sports season in the state of Connecticut since the fall of 2019. You're going to play a full regular season. You're going to play a full SCAC tournament season. You're not going to play regional opponents. You're going to play the best teams. And then you're going to play a full state tournament, which, at this point seems like a rarity. We haven't played one in so long. What did that mean to you when you knew that you guys were going to be able to compete for all the hardware and you guys can play as much as possible? What does that mean to you, and what does that mean to the rest of these guys and Coach Buzzio that this is really legitimate season?
You know, I mean, for all of us, I mean, we have a great group of guys, and we also have a bunch of friends who are on the hockey team and who, you know, a bunch of us played football, Chris and Harry and I. And it was definitely, you know, it was tough not having a football season or most of one at all. Not being able to have a turkey bowl and not being able to have a state playoffs. For hockey, I know it was definitely difficult not having that, you know, state championship, even though they were able to have that, you know, that winter FCAC. But, you know, to us, I think it's really important to us that we're able to capitalize on the opportunity that we've been given to, you know, play a full season. You know, we're playing 16 games. It's, you know, a lot different than what people have been proposing months and months ago, thanks to the numbers, you know, going down and the COVID cases going down. But it really means a lot to us as seniors, not getting anything last year out of a junior season, and then finally being able to play a full season. It really means a lot to us.
Well, we've got text messages going on in the background, which mean these guys are popular or Coach Buzzio is ringing one of your butts. I don't know. Regardless of where the texts are coming from, you guys have bigger fish to fry than this interview. You fried the interview. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Jack, Ryan, Harry, Chris, Callum, and the guy not wearing the suit say good night to all of you. Another episode of Rams Revealed in the books, and can't wait to cover this team in a week. Their home opener up against Fairfield Ludlow. You know NCTV will have the live game. You know I'm going to try to commentate it, so you can mute me if you want. You know I have nothing against that. Regardless, you want to see these guys play. They will play that full season, and can't wait to see it.